Cinema Worms.
Discussing everything from Grima Wormtongue to the Shy Halib.
Nope, I don't like so. I always start
Shouldn't
with
we
so.
be like, hello, we should introduce ourselves.
I'm Zabib.
And I'm Linz.
This is Cinema Worms.
Cinema Worms.
Woo.
Worms at the cinema. It's
like
bookworms, but for
bookworms,
films.
but
Yeah, it's
cinema.
complete. It makes sense. It makes sense. We're not changing it. It's too late.
So today we're going to be talking about Begonia from one of the most interesting directors working today, Yorgos Lanthimos, based on a 2003 South Korean film called Save the Green Planet by Jang Joon Hwan. So initially this was going to be adapted into English by that same Korean director, and a screenwriter Will Tracy came on. Ari Aster was going to be producing, but eventually Lanthimos took over as the director. And Emma Stone joined in, as she does. So this is a story...
Makes her sound like she just crashes parties and just comes along to things.
Yeah. She was like, I'm here, Lanthimos. Yes, I'm in.
She's kind of his muse at this point.
Absolutely.
Very much like Uma Thurman was for Tarantino. You gotta have your muse.
So Begonia follows two 20, 30-something men who live in a ramshackle house and just seem to be...
Ramshackle is such a polite way to describe it, yeah.
They're poors, and they kidnap a powerful CEO, suspecting that she is secretly an alien intent on destroying Earth. I like how you just point to Grace Jones. Grace Jones doesn't want to destroy Earth. It's just a cool sweater.
You don't know her life. I'm sorry. You don't know that for real. It's my low-key conspiracy theory.
I mean, look, she's giving, with the eyes and the green skin in this version, she is giving alien Grace Jones.
She's giving Ozymandias.
Yeah.
And you've had your warning.
Oh, nice reference.
I pronounced it wrong. It's Ozymandias.
So the film stars
it's just funnier.
Emma Stone, Jesse Plemons, Aidan Delbus, and Stavros Halkos, and a bit of Alicia Silverstone.
Took me a real minute to I was like, this lady, I don't know her, but she looks a little bit like Alicia Silverstone. That's because
it was her.
I just haven't seen Alicia Silverstone in a while.
Yes. So yeah, okay, I saw this movie after you. You had seen it like a good week and a half before me, and insisted I go see it. And I was like, I don't know if I want to go see that. And you were like, you should. Then we could talk about it.
It was a toss-up between Deliver Me From Nowhere, the Springsteen film, and Begonia. And I thought for this video episode, it's going to make more sense to talk about Begonia, because I have more to say, and I think you probably do too.
So a couple quick facts. It was a 45 to 55 million budget, so it's his most expensive film, which is surprising.
Even more than Poor Things, yeah. It's
Poor Things, which is much more visually dazzling and out there, but it's also filmed on sets. I don't know if that's something to do with it, and with the use of Vistavision, I think, throughout the entire film. Robbie Ryan is a cinematographer, as he was for Poor Things and probably for other Lanthimos films. Oh, no, he worked on The Favorite for sure. Then you have Jerksin Fendrix doing the score. You have a fun fact about that.
I do. And also Jerksin Fendrix sounds like if Jimi Hendrix made up a terrible pseudonym for himself. It just amuses me so much. Apparently he was given no script. Lanthimos was like, no, you can't have one. I will give you kind of 3 keywords and a clue about how this is going to look, and you have a year and you'll just have to make something up. And poor Fendrix was like, well, okay, I guess.
I'm going to do my magic.
Yeah. And to be fair, he did do his magic, so it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's a great score.
The words were bees, basement, and spaceship. And then the clue he was given was Emily, as in Emma Stone. Emily Bald. Which I think is really funny. So he had like some kind of visual clue, and he had, I think the rest conjure up particular environments or noises, and he really ran with that. And the score, when you consider that the score was made without any reference to a script, it is kind of insane how well it fits. Like, well done to Fendrix there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I could describe the plot a bit more, but I don't want to spoil it. So let's just leave it at that.
That is the difficulty with this one. But firstly, before we get into some of the later things, I'd love to, because we often talk about the composers, but we don't often talk about the set design.
Oh,
And
I actually have a fact there, but you go
oh no,
ahead.
but like
You tell it.
no, I don't know. I don't have facts. I just know that like they interviewed James Price, who was the production designer. There's a lot of clues to what is going on within the set design and also in the score itself. Now, you may have seen, if you haven't seen this film, you may have seen the trailer because it has one of the most famous Chapel Roan songs on it, Good Luck Babe, and Emma Stone is singing along to it in the car.
Good luck, babe. Good luck. I actually don't know how it
That's
goes.
exactly how it goes. Well done. And pretty good. You have such a lovely voice.
That was not a good version of my
It was.
singing.
I mean, it's
redact that from your memory.
4 octaves lower than Chapel Roan sings it, but like nobody can do that flute noise like she can. But I consider that a clue about the plot, as I have expounded to you at length. But for me, the set design was really interesting on like a base level. When you're looking at Emma Stone's CEO's characters, like the office that she works in, it's all these clean lines, it's very corporate, everything's like glass and kind of transparent, but at the same time, if you've worked in a corporate environment, as I have, you know exactly the kind of soulless, horrible, husky thing that's going on here. And Jesse Plemons, like character Don and his cousin Teddy, their house is ramshackle, as I said, is a real nice word. It's dirty. It's a dirty house.
Unnecessarily dirty.
They are dirty boys. They look like they smell real bad. They look like they haven't ever done laundry ever in their lives. The house is like a mess. It's dirty. It's grimy. They're kind of living in their own filth because that's not important. The mission is important. But there are little clues in the set design, which for me anyway, I thought was pretty neat. There was a couple of things that I noticed because the camera was either lingering on them or something was kind of hovering in the scene. Well, I noticed I was supposed to be focusing on the characters. There was something that was just conspicuously in a scene, and it made me think, oh, I think I know what the plot is, and I was right. But it was nice to be able to work that out. It shows you how much detail was paid to this. So I hope they got several of those millions, they set designers, because they did a great job. All right, what's your cool fact?
No, there's nothing. I have no cool facts.
Oh, I thought you had a fact. You said you had a fact.
Oh, just that. I mean, this is. We should get into how we liked the film,
okay.
But it wasn't that cool. So it was essentially that they tried to.
It's cool.
No. It's really lame. You had more facts on all the ways he did production design, but they really wanted to emphasize the use of natural light. And James Price, the production designer, then had to design that basement so as to have as much natural light and windows the light coming in through those windows, part of that effect of the experience in the basement, which is so much of the film.
I also think it's interesting that some of the things are happening on what seems to be just really nice days. And like in a film like this, it's not a horror, but I think people are kind of calling it like a thriller in some ways, but a lot of the time you will see those things happening on overcast days or at night. There's a lot of this, it's broad sunshine, it's really nice. And for me, I like to write a lot of things set in broad sun, horrible things happening in the sun, because to me that's much more horrific. That we think of it like, no, the bad things happen in the dark. No, they don't. They often happen out in the open. That's a whole part of this.
Yeah. Yeah. Between the outside and inside of this grimy basement.
Yeah.
So what'd you think of the film?
I liked it a lot. It's not my favourite Lanthimos. I think I was ranking them and it came in with like Killing of a Sacred Deer at the very bottom, so far below anything else. I really hated that one. And at the top it's like The Favourite and Dogtooth, and then kind of middle of the pack, it's it's Your Kinds of Kindness, it's Poor Things. Bugonia I feel I liked more than Poor Things.
And I
didn't feel the same just way. A touch more than Poor Things, and maybe a touch more than Kinds of Kindness, but so I feel like it's upper middle class in this way. There was something about it that I did not completely embrace and love. But I liked it, and I liked how some of the layers did require a bit of mental excavation to get to them, but it's not on par with The Favourite for me, or Dogtooth, which I really think is maybe his best work yet.
I think I was too put off by the incest in Dogtooth.
You
to
were
really,
deeply
really.
uncomfortable.
I was in a bad mood. I wasn't trying to get on board. That no, I.
I'm sure your
That
siblings would be
movie.
delighted to hear that.
Yeah. Cut. So okay, yeah, the film I also found it really like compelling, but it's not like a favorite film. It's enjoyable in parts, in its separate parts, but as a whole I couldn't say like, oh my god, I like am just blown away and shaken by this film. But it is fascinating. It's a bit hard edged and emotionally hard to get into because it's really dark and it's really weird and it's just metallic. It doesn't give you lots of what do I love about like The Favorite and Poor Things that wasn't in this one. I mean, this one is even weirder in a different way. You could argue Poor Things is insanely weird and out there.
I think the difference is that in those two films that you mentioned, we have a central protagonist who is really prickly but also insecure and vulnerable. But this was not that film. This is not that kind of film. These characters are insecure in completely different ways.
Yeah,
it's hard to emotionally.
Yeah,
I don't.
The characters.
Yeah,
that's it.
I don't think that I didn't feel that it was emotionally hard to get into this film, but I can see why it would have been hard to emotionally connect with. I think I don't necessarily feel like I need to connect with the characters. I just want to see them do their thing in a way that makes sense. So I think I approach films a little bit differently. But yeah, I can see what you mean. There's not a lot of true vulnerability going on, and when it is, it comes from Don's cousin Teddy. Most of the time, there's a vulnerability to him that feels really sad and tragic to watch.
The other two are basically on defense and very aggressive, savvy, kind of frightening characters.
Yeah.
And as antagonists to each other, they're really compelling. You have Jesse Plemons and Emma Stone, great actors playing. I will say these characters, just from the way it's filmed to the way they bring these performances to life, it's extremely like riveting. The visual, I like this term now, the visual language of the film is very Lanthimos. He used Vistavision throughout. So my understanding off of a Reddit thread, okay, it's 35 millimeter stock. Usually it's filming like vertically through the camera. And the camera exposes a frame with 4 perforations long, and you get like a square-like image. And then they ran it through this Vistavision camera, which is very expensive, and it pulls the film horizontally. Side note, you should look up Ryan Coogler talking about how he filmed Sinners. There's a lot of, he did a really long, interesting video about that, and like IMAX, etc., 65 millimeter. So it's pulling it horizontally. There are 8 perforations per frame. Somehow this gives a lot more detail and resolution. So I think you can tell in watching this film, it's got tons of depth and resolution.
It's visually fascinating.
Yes.
It is an archaeological dig, visually speaking. You can watch it as is in the surface, or you can really, start getting into it.
And there's so many like, okay, you have them sort of in this rich detail and like wide shots, but then also increasingly in tighter and tighter, intense, like close, and they're just the things they're doing emotionally, it is intense and compelling. Emma Stone, this is really different from other performances I've seen from her, and she's scary. And so is Jesse Plemons.
I mean, we've seen Jesse Plemons be scary before, though. He does tend to play a kind of menacing character. I'm thinking back to his turn in Civil War most recently. But I've never been afraid of Emma Stone before. And in this, there was something about her that was almost as menacing in a way. It was really, really interesting. Now, the conspiracy theory, which underlies the whole thing, is that Don believes that Emma Stone's character is an alien, a particular kind of alien. He's done his research, or so he says. Now, I think this is really interesting to talk about because there are a lot of conspiracy theories abounding in contemporary time. One of the things that I've seen that sort of sums it up is, I don't know why people believe that there's a shadowy cabal of rich, of like billionaires controlling everything, when there are actually a bunch of billionaires controlling everything just out in the open. You don't need to make them up. They're right there. Why are we, we already know they're doing it in front of our faces. That doesn't make any sense to have a secret organization for them, because they are doing what they want anyway. But I do think there's something to be said about what is underlying Don's conspiracy theory. Like, it's all about, because he keeps bees, he believes that the corporation that Emma Stone works for, and as a result therefore Emma Stone herself, is responsible for his mother's death, and as well as the bees.
So we are getting into the plot.
the bees dying. But like, no, I'm just kind of saying like that just to give a little backstory, because I think whatever you think about the plot and how it works out and what the ending is, spoilers.
No, that doesn't mean anything. You can interpret the winks as you want. Spoilerless winks.
Spoilerless winks. But I think the most interesting thing for me is not, is he right or is he wrong, which is kind of the premise, but why is he right about his conspiracy theory? It almost doesn't matter if she's an alien or if she was not. That's really not the point. The point is that he's right that something has been happening, and the consequences on, what you say, that like the little people, mean that like his life sucks. His life is terrible. He's had a really awful time, and his mom is really sick and stuff. And it's just, he blames this corporation for that, but you could kind of juxtapose that on it. You could be like, oh, look at these big oil companies who, spill oil into the ocean. Look at these places that contaminate the water by dumping chemicals and toxic waste. There's a lot of kind of just very parallels to the real world. They're causing the damage to Earth and to people as a whole, where climate change, we are killing the bees. And he sees this through this lens of paranoia and fear and rage. And I mean, he is right to be afraid and to be angry, because these things are actually happening. Just because his is a bit more out there of a conspiracy theory, just because he believes he can attribute it to this person and this company, doesn't mean that he shouldn't, whether he's right or wrong, that he can't be angry about the results on his life.
Well, yeah, it's
and
a
I think
way.
That's interesting.
I think that's a really good point. Check out, as a side note, ContraPoint's conspiracy, 3-hour conspiracy video. I mean, she has like over 1 million subscribers, so she doesn't need me to shout her out, but it's interesting. And also the fact that Ari Aster was a producer.
Are you good?
I don't know how to say his name. Is a
Ari
producer, and he just came out with Eddington this year, also
Yes.
with Emma Stone, also about conspiracy.
Do you know I didn't like Eddington though?
Yeah.
And
We did a video on that.
I mean,
check it out.
We did. What do you prefer, Eddington or Begonia, as a film overall? Because I know what I prefer.
I don't know.
Really?
Come back to me at the end of the video. In a couple minutes.
We're almost done.
We've been talking for ages
Yeah.
about this, because it's really interesting. The conspiracy aspect is that you have a world that's really scary and spiraling out of control, and oppressive systems are at work. And he wants, this main character, the conspiracy theorists, like all conspiracy theorists, wants some simplified, unifying explanation that he can target and then eliminate as the scapegoat or the solution, like this particular cabal of people and conspiracy.
He wants to find a boogeyman.
Boogeyman.
But he's not realizing that it's a hydra. You cut one head off and there's always more. It's not just one dragon that you slay. The dragon has multiple heads. That's not the way things work.
Oh yeah. But you're right, because it's this film is talking about capitalism, climate change, etc. And yeah, it's just it's very intense. Okay. Main point is that I felt like there were different aspects that I personally would have preferred maybe a focus on one of those. So whether it's like the social commentary or whether it's the idea, and you could say like, oh, the film did focus on all these things, whether it's the idea of conspiracy theories themselves, not just being like, that's crazy, but like, why are you believing that? Whether it's simply the power struggle between Emma Stone's character and Jesse Plemons' character, you know, it kind of, I wanted maybe a focus on one of those.
Yeah.
But then you just kind of end up in a certain place. Let us know what you think about the ending. Maybe we don't need to get into spoiler discussion. But
Did we agree,
that changes things.
Did we agree on whether we liked or the ending? Because I know that I liked it. How did you feel about the ending without giving spoilers?
I thought it was funny. This is a funny film, by the way.
It is. It's so darkly funny. Unintentionally, and sometimes it is very funny intentionally, like a very
unintentionally.
Like, well, yeah. I don't think the ending was supposed to be funny, but I see why you could
maybe
find
there's
it
The beep.
You can't swear on the internet.
I was like, it's just such a. It's like the darkest ending, and I was like, ha ha ha.
See, I'm glad we saw this separately, because if you'd been howling with laughter,
I wasn't howling. I was
would have
chuckling.
rethought our marriage. But okay, so we had different takes. I definitely was like, interesting. I kind of like that. I definitely didn't giggle though. It wasn't a giggle ending for me.
I think character-wise, I would have preferred that not be the ending, but it was epic.
Okay. Well, if you've seen Bugonia, then let us know what you think. We are dying to talk about it, and none of our friends have seen it yet. So
thank you for encouraging me to watch it. It was so weird.
I still think you should see the Bruce Springsteen film.
Oh yeah.
It's well worth seeing.
Yeah. Okay.
I thought you were gonna just burst into like one of his songs. Yeah. Okay, never.
Baby, I was born to run.
You've done a lot of singing this podcast.
Yeah, bad singing.
I enjoy it.
This needs to end. Bye.
Bye.
Like and subscribe.